You're listening to the Selfless Entrepreneurs Podcast, where we chat about the ups, downs, and in between of businesses and how being an entrepreneur is when it comes to self-care, work-life balance, and so much more. You'll hear guest experts in the field talk about their businesses and give tips, helpful advice, self-care, and balancing family and business and some. Don't forget to subscribe, download, and share. Now let's get right into it. Hey, welcome back to the Selfless Entrepreneurs Podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer Gamayo Self. Now, you may have noticed the name change. It's to better reflect what this podcast is focused on, and also just to be transparent because that is who I am with my audience and everyone in general, against a lot of my many business coach advice that I've had in the past. But it was never, and it's still not my intention to advertise or market any of my services on this podcast. I really want to showcase and honor other businesses and their skills, and that's what this platform is about. And I wasn't in any of the episodes or descriptions. I didn't do any of that. And it wasn't, generally a real estate per se. I know the old title was Get Real in Real Estate, and so it was never my intention to have it just a real estate or anything marketing my service, and I don't feel that I did. But things happened to where maybe I was told that I probably should put, business logo, things like that on it. And since this is my passion project, even though I looked into my state's rules and reached out to many of my professionals across the states that I'm connected with, and each one said it wasn't needed, but really just to protect my passion project, that is this podcast and other venues and ventures that I have, I just changed the name. And actually, to be completely honest, I'm thrilled about it. It was such a blessing in disguise because I actually like the name better. And like I said, it reflects the direction that this is going. So I'm loving it, actually. I'm really having fun with it. So, okay, moving on. Let's wrap up this series in my journey in becoming a real estate agent and being affiliated with the NAR and privileged to call myself a realtor. So that's just my journey. Again, just giving general advice you can probably find anywhere. So now you passed the test. Congrats to you. That's a huge accomplishment, seriously. And assuming that you already did your fingerprints before the test at your local testing center, then you should be notified that you are good to go and get started with the brokerage that you chose. And depending on if you chose one that has mentorship, coaching, or even a full business boutique, as I like to call it, with all the education and resources to set you up for success in your first year. So if you did choose one that you pretty much are on your own, that's not really a full business boutique, then I suggest you get started in joining the National Associates of Realtors, the NAR, then your local MLS right away. Build your business pages on all the socials, and most importantly to me, Google My Business. So once your page with Google is verified, then you can send your page to your previous coworkers or friends or anyone that can give a review of your work ethics, any skills, characteristics, or the like. Since you are just starting, don't worry about needing it to be like only real estate specific because you're just starting, right? So you have had life experiences, and I'm assuming other jobs or anything else that you were involved in prior to coming to this industry. So use that, utilize that, use the people that you know, have them write reviews. It does not have to be specific towards anything, just really about your skills, your character, something good that people will look at. And then always check with your state requirements regarding advertising and what you need to do to be compliant in your verbiage, especially online. There are Facebook groups that you can join for newer agents. I know I did when I was in school. That really helped. And it gives you great insight and even about posting ideas as well as in-person community events or anything that you can sponsor. And find different ways to do your geographical farm and nurture that. So I really highly recommend you get started and seeing what areas that you want to speak to and you kind of want to target. And so I also would say, get your name out there, get it out in the community that you are in, put it all over social media, be your local and online celebrity expert. So people will begin to know your name and what you do just by your consistency of posting and doing videos, as well as your tone and your brand. They're instantly going to know that's you because they already know you. They know your brand, they know your tone, they know your colors, they know generally what you post. So be that local celebrity expert, online and in person. All right. And so I hope those small things really gave you what you should do or what you can do. I know it's in a nutshell, but really just to what you can get started. And and definitely best of luck to all of you. And seriously, just if I would say anything, it's to be consistent in all that you do. It takes time and patience, so please don't get discouraged. And whatever you do, please don't give up. I advise to step back, take a breather, or some days off if you need it, so that you can reevaluate, but don't give up. And also a quick caveat before we close this session, this particular industry is expensive to start. And as I'm sure you know, when you were in school, there were a lot of costs associated with it. And so, spend your money and your time wisely, right? There are things that you absolutely need to get started, and those are non-negotiables. Like being involved in the NAR, getting into the MLS system, professional headshots for business cards, things like that, you really do need. But personally, I never pay for advertising. So in my other business that I have, in health and wellness, I only have done organic marketing, and it has worked well for me, actually, I must say. So word of encouragement, use what you have. It doesn't cost anything for friends or family or past coworkers to be your cheerleader and to share your post, give your business a shout out or like and comment, and anything that takes but seconds to do. So I would get in touch with any of them, your what they call sphere of influence, and just say, hey, would you mind sharing? Would you mind commenting? I just posted this. Anything just to get that support. If you have a good, strong support system behind you, then you are already on the right track. Be consistent, and in the beginning, plan out what you want to do in terms of who you want to market to, how you're going to do that, and compare different costs like print advertising, mailings, flyers, any of that sort. You can design your own things on Canva, so you don't necessarily, if your brokerage does not come with like marketing per se, then you can do your own. And Canva is relatively inexpensive. I have the Pro. I would suggest you do that. There is a free version. But you can use Canva or other things that I use as well. But it's the best to use and just pay for marketing materials. So it does minimize your cost and really have a budget, especially in the beginning. And this is not just in real estate. This is in all industries. All aspiring entrepreneurs should have a well thought out business plan, small to long-term goals, and a budget to keep track of your spending and profits. So really highly encourage you, set down, get a business plan going, whether it's 90-day goals, or even 30, 60, then 90 days. That's awesome. Create a budget, see what you realistically can do. Who are you going to target? How are you going to market? What will realistically each week look like for you? And what prospecting or lead generation activities will you do, whether that's online or getting out in person or door knocking on, any of your farm areas, giving them small gifts, anything like that. Sky's the limit. There's so much you can do. And like I said, you can find this information anywhere. There's Facebook groups. You can find stuff on Instagram. You can find it on Google. So I would research that and see what works for you and just be consistent. So have a budget, be consistent, and that's the advice that I would give for after you have your license. What would be the next step? So thank you so much for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you back in season 2 for guest experts that run their own businesses of all sorts and how they find time for balance and self-care as well as in health. But don't worry, season 1 is not over. I will be back next week, and there's going to be more just entrepreneur business tips and just a lot of goodness coming up. So can't wait to see you until next week. Stay tuned for next week's episode, and thanks for listening. If this has helped you in any way, please show the love and share, download, and subscribe. Reviews also help me to reach more people and get this message out.